Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. So, can you all hear me? So, if you can hear me, say yes. Comment below, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, have you guys eaten your lunch yet? Yeah, I'm Natalie. I'm the platform owner of Zeta. I'm your host today. Welcome to our session. So, how's everyone today? This is the day 2 of CMCO, Conditional Movement Control Order. Have you guys still work from home, or have you guys started to go out and work in the office? So if you are out, just make sure you always practice social distancing, put on mask, sanitize your hands often, and just stay safe. So come back to our topic. So today we will be talking about the 3 challenges of passing on property to our next generation. So before we start, let us invite our main key speaker, Benjamin Poe.
Yoo-hoo! Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Natalie, for inviting to this platform. Everyone have a great, wonderful afternoon, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right.
All right. So, Benjamin, let me have a brief introduction of Benjamin. Benjamin is carrying Pacific Trustee as principal. He's also the head of will and trust. So, as I believe more of the audience here are real estate agents, right? So, if you're a real estate agent, type 1 so that I know you're a real estate agent. If you're not, please type 2. As we being a real estate agent, it's good for us to equip with a lot more knowledge, especially in will and trust, so that we can be able to give relevant advice to our client. Yeah. So actually, the reason we come across this idea to have a session to talk about will and trust, it was all coming from this drama called Anjia. I don't know whether have any of you watched this. In English, it's called "I Will Find You a Better Home." So any of you, can I have a show of hands? Any of you have watched this drama? Comment also. You type 1. If you have watched this drama, you type 1. If you have not watched, you don't know what is this about, you just type 2. So can I see, like, what's the majority?
Wow.
So
Okay. I see some
2.
response.
Okay, oh, most of them haven't watched this drama because it's in English, right? Oh, no, sorry, because the drama is in Chinese.
Chinese Mandarin.
All right. It's fine. We will have a very brief synopsis about this drama. Actually, we had a Chinese session of this topic last Tuesday, and the response was quite good. So upon request, we have this English session today. So, so
Yeah, you're right. I just doing this because it's just live up there. So what I do is I just share my post basically. So I was busy texting during my this Facebook live thing. So share to all your friends and people. I think it's quite beneficial for most of them. Some
exactly.
of them they might not know that there are quite a few challenges when you come to will and estate planning part, right? So yeah, why
Exactly.
not we continue with some briefing of this drama, this series?
Okay, Ben. In fact, right after watching this drama, it's really resonate with me, especially us in Refill, because if any of you have watched it, it's actually Refill and the property agency in this drama. We hold the same belief and culture that people always come first. So our duty is to help and assist people to find the right match of their dream home. So we got to admit that there are people who work so hard and save up for their whole life just to get a roof for their family. So it's a very noble job for us to assist people to find their home. So some part of the scene and storyline really got us heartbroken. Very, very sad watching it. So today we will use one of the storyline to be our case study. So we will only touch on the story of these lovely couples called Mr. and Mrs. Song. As you can see from the
Yes.
screen, yeah, they are a loving couple. They are even though at their age about 70 plus years old, they still hold their hands and go out together. Very sweet, take care of one another. But they don't have any children. So the
Yep.
closest person to them are their nephews. So the
Mm-hmm.
whole climax of this drama is when Mr. Song got diagnosed with cancer.
Yep.
It cannot be cured in their country, in China. So the only way is to get get out some money and then to send him to overseas. So Mrs. Song wanted to save her husband's life so much that she finding all the ways to sell her property that her parents inherited to her.
Mm.
So, but then she's facing a huge problem where both of the nephews' name are in the same title as well.
Mhm.
Because the house has 3 stories. So when Mrs. Song's parents passed on the property, they actually allocated each floor for 1 children. So
Yep.
Mrs. Song's got the middle floor. So when she wanted to sell the house, right, she also has to get the consent and share profit with both of her nephews.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
But then
that's why that's where the part, right, it comes very related to us, because when it come
yeah,
to all these thing, right, normally the one who will be the spouse lah of the, so happen this will be the spouse of the nephew,
nephew.
right,
Mm,
basically has all the says, and then try to cut off they try to stop the transaction happening just because they want to sell a better shares, right? They want to have
yes.
a grab a better shares on this property money.
So yeah, at the end, so basically what the nephews and the nephew's spouse, the lady in white shirt, they actually thought they are young and they can wait. So why in a rush to sell off the property? The property in Shanghai's continue to rise. So what is the rush? So they keep on dragging and they are not willing to sign the S&P until the uncle passed away, and then because the aunt saw the husband pass away and she heartbroken, and after a few days and she passed away as well. So they thought they got the bigger share. So that's the heartbroken part that
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
from this drama. Yeah, but
All right.
luckily, right? But luckily, Mrs. Song's then actually donate her
Donated. Yeah,
portion to the country. So at the end, the nephews also cannot sell off the property.
yeah.
So
Not able
this
to
is,
get anything.
yeah, exactly. So we will pass the time back to Benjamin and let him introduce like how can we minimize the risk and reduce things like this happens in our life.
Awesome. Thank you, Natalie. If let's say you feel like my voice is a little bit loud, right? So you just nudge me and then let me know, because sometimes I'll be very excited and then it goes very loud when it comes to presentation, right? It's happy to see everyone here. If let's say I see you again, happy to see you again. So I will continue. Like, what do you from the drama, right? What exactly you understand from this? I believe those who have attended the Chinese session, right? You know what I'm trying to tell, right? So basically, from this drama, right, it so happened that everyone who makes a trouble are the spouses, right? So I'm not pointing. Okay, please don't get me wrong. I'm not pointing any ladies here, but just happened in this drama is ladies. But when you see in reality, right, it can be your brother-in-law, it can be your father-in-law. It's not exactly spouse. Sorry, it's not exactly ladies only. So imagine this, because when I have some cases, right, basically is when they married to the original the family. So what happened is the spouse of the family, right, they don't understand the culture, the family culture. So those who make troubles always are the spouses. They are quite influential in the sense that because they are sleeping just next to the decision maker, right? So they can basically influence the decision making when it comes to certain important point, right? So another thing that we understand from this drama, property is very important for all Asian. Don't you guys agree? You see, some people, right? Some families, they just spend all their saving to get a house, right? I believe, especially in my dad generation, my father generation, right? they have been working very, very hard just to try to get a home for us. I believe some of you might feel the relevance here. And then some people, they want to find the quality home for their kids, the quality environment. So if you can relate, maybe most of you would like to stay in Desa Park City. There is a wonderful environment for every one of us. The living quality is there. Basically, this is something that we would like to get, right? So some people will just try to find comfortable with but within their budget. So there are some also buy a house for their girlfriend, right? So for girlfriend, some of us will say BMW lah. So black market woman. So this is some term that we always will joke around. So for their girlfriend, basically they buy the house basically just to accommodate another purpose, right? So another one is some people they will defend till the death to just get the property right for their family, right? So if let's say you look at this story, right, we see that there are three challenges that when passing your property to your beloved one. The first one is either you want to be equal or it's either you want to be fair. Is that equal distribution, even distribution is fair for your children, for your beneficiaries? Share title of properties. This is always what we encounter. There are siblings sharing the same properties. There are friends purchase the same properties, right? Because of, you want to get rid of the loan. So it's quite common in Malaysia. And then the third one is property is the best tool for retirement. This is also what we will discuss along this presentation, right? So the first challenge, be equal or be fair. Look at this diagram. What do you see? If let's say every children has one box, right? Is that equal for every of your kid? Or if I put the two boxes to the youngest one, from eldest portion to the youngest one, so he would be able to enjoy the same thing. So it's very similar like in will planning. For most of the time, right, for most people, especially our parents, we try to do it as like equal, evenly distributed to every of our kid. But the thing is, if let's say one day it happens this, the eldest one is a business owner, say for example, and then he needs money to turn around. Like right now, he needs some cash to turn over his business. So he wanted to refinance or sell the whole house. But the house right now is stayed by the youngest son. So what will happen? There will be a lot of disputes happen, right? So this is exactly what is happening right now. So most of the people, if let's say we distribute it evenly and then without concerning about their ability, it will come to this picture when family start quarrel about the property, whether want to sell or don't want to sell. And like I said, it's pretty much also spouse will influence the decision making, making.
After.
Sorry, yeah. So that's why when it comes to this distribution, right, it's also quite hard for them to decide whether they want to sell or not, whether they are able to sell or not. So when there's one case study from my side is basically this, like I said just now, business owner, the spouse wanted to sell the house because to get the cash, but the youngest son don't want to sell it. So whether be equal or be fair is the thing. And then I always will advise my client, if let's say they want to sell the house, they want to sell the property, or they want to give to any beneficiary, right? What I will always advise is try to discuss with your kids first. Like, what's the wish of your parents? What's the wish of yourself to pass on the properties? It's not like Hong Kong drama. It's not like TVB. You need to wait until die, then only we expose the whole real thing, and then you try to read it out. Then everyone will wonder why are the arrangements made like that. So instead of waiting for the will to be disclosed, I would strongly advise, if let's say you can talk to your son, talk to your daughter, just try to let them know why I have this kind of thoughts to distribute. Instead of accordingly, evenly, I will distribute based on capability. Right? This is some of the recommendation that I can advise to. But the thing is, most of us, right, in reality, right, we only have one house. So we are not able to distribute it evenly. If let's say we are not able to do it, what I will normally advise is, if you have a house, try to liquidate it to cash and return it in the will. So when you liquidate it, it's cash, right? It's liquid. So it's easier for you to distribute out evenly if even is equal to fair. Right? So that's why, right? For most of the time, people we when we advise this kind of advice, right? Some people they cannot take it. But the thing is, if we look at the consequences that would happen, especially when you look around, there are some properties, right? Is empty for some time. It's vacant for some time already. So when it's vacant for some time, the reason why is because when come to share title of property, we don't know who is the one who take responsibility to maintain the property, or to sell, or to rent the property. And even though someone who rent it, right, then you need to take care of it. Who would take the responsibility? Right. So this come the second challenges where share title property, is that good to do or not? So some of you might encounter this. Their siblings, share to purchase a property. Their friends try to share and then to purchase property. Especially like us, when I was 25, right? Around my friends, they are trying to get a property just by sharing the loan and put up the name to just get the loan, right? 5, 6 years ago, the property price was quite low. So we had an agreement. We said, why not 10 years later, we sell off this, right? But the thing is, there was one case, right? They are joint name with his best friend, this client best friend. So what happened is, he encountered an accident. So he passed away. And the spouse of this demise, right? She wants money. She needs money to keep the kid survive, right, for family expenses. So she went to the share title one, the partner, the friends of the client. So she went over and then she asked, hey, I would like to get some cash. So would you want to sell this property, since I don't have the money for living expenses, especially for the kid? So, for this friends of this deceased, right? What happened is, they he can't he had made the agreement that he thought that he would sell this property 10 years later with a better value. But the thing is, when the spouse wants the money, that would he want to sell or not? If let's say he sell that time, right? He sell at a lower price, which is not expected the investment return already. So what happened is, if let's say in this case, right, I would strongly advise, if you can make a pre-agreement with all your share title partner, then that would be great. That we agree that if let's say any one of you pass away, then we will straight away sell off the house with any value. Okay, because for what at the point, if let's say anyone pass away, right, there will not be anyone to verify or to agree that the value that we expected before. Even for siblings, share property also same thing. So you will see, like last generation, when my grandpa generation, they passed to my parents' generation, right? Then there will be a lot of siblings sharing the same property. And I encountered one, this billionaire, they owned about like 10 million kind of properties. But the thing is, when 10 million properties, right, everything is in property without any liquid cash. So when he wants to sell a property to get the cash, right, he needs to discuss with all the share title, including his uncle and aunties. There are about like 10 uncle, aunties together with the share title. The worst part is if let's say the eldest uncle passed away, right? Then it inherit to the nephew and nieces. So you have additional more property. So that time, right, my advice to him is you just don't treat this property as your asset anymore. It doesn't bring any value to you. What it has is only book inside the book, but not the cash that you can liquidate. So literally, it's not your asset because you can't do anything. So if we see the consequences after grandpa passing to our parents' generation, are we supposed to do something to avoid the same thing happen? Right? So siblings, I encounter some cases, they say, parents say, siblings, they are very good one. Their bond is very strong. They have very good relationship. But back to that question, whether or not the spouse that they married to, they understand the siblings' harmonies or not. Sometimes, you know, in reality, this is what we encounter. Normally, things change when they are in marriage or when they start having difficulty. Because all these property are very meant to turn as a cash and is very valuable cash. Right? So when it comes to third challenge, is property the best tool for retirement? So if you can see from the chart, right, before retirement, property is a very good value to increase your net worth. So by time, over the time, property value increases, your net worth also increases. But the thing is, when after retirement, right, you need to slightly change the proportionate of liquid asset and non-liquid asset to 30-70%. Okay, the reason why is because if imagine any one of after retirement, the retirees, right, they need cash by now. Are they going to sell in a very low price during this time, this COVID-19, this period? They are forced selling already. If let's say they are forced selling, it won't be a good price. So some of my clients, right, I would advise them, normally some clients, if let's say they get a property for their education fund, some of my clients, they do that. They just keep one property for the daughter education and then another property for the son education. So they will wait until the property value increases, and then they will just turn the cash, they will just liquidate it. So normally my advice to this client, right, you need to liquidate it 2 years before the education. You need to liquidate it 2 years before you need the fund because you want to get the best price for your property, right? So if let's say you treat or your client treat property as an investment tool, every investment tool, they will have this cycle. Either you buy low, you sell high, right, to get the cash out. So this is also one of the things. If let's say after retirement, we will strongly advise you to get your liquidate your property and then to get your cash out. The reason is very simple, because after retirement, you might need cash more than only collecting rental. Okay, so if let's say you can see, this is also part of it. Most of them, they don't want to turn into liquid asset. The reason why is because they don't want to be cheated, or they don't want to pass the cash easily because they don't want to hold so much of cash, right, inside the account. If they say anything to happen, then they might lose all this money already. So what I would like to introduce is try to get this after this all this cash, right, parked under a living trust. So this living trust, right, there is a third party, normally it's corporate, okay, corporate trustee, right, will hold the money on behalf. And then there are some benefits here, which is already stated in the slide, to avoid the probate process, to maintain the privacy, and also this is the one to prepare for mental disability or any when you are not capable to do some daily activities. Say for example, like stroke, dementia. because recently I just get one message from my client. So what happened is the cousin, right, ran away the money of the auntie from nursing care because the auntie just passed the ATM card when she was still cautious, right? So passed the ATM card to the cousin, and then the cousin just take out all the money and then ran away to Singapore already. And then
Oh,
what happened is they left their auntie, their mom lah, yeah. So in nursing care. So my client's mom, my client's mom, basically are the siblings of this dementia patient. So in nursing care, they need to share the cost to support the nursing care monthly fees.
mm,
So if let's say everything were to have already being discussed and done earlier, right, before all this happened, trust what they can do is they can provide the monthly allowance to the nursing care, okay, just to take out the money and then to provide the money allowance to nursing care without uh, going through children or anyone. Because come to corporate trustee, right? There is this trustee act to protect everyone's money. At least by legal framework, they can do so. If let's say we trust someone, someone might have just run with all this money, all this cash already. So this is one of the things that we can really consider if we don't want Mr. Song happen to us. So there's a reason why when we watch this movie, basically Nat introduced this drama series to me. So when I watched this, right, I said there are a lot of things that you can avoid when it comes to old age and also when it comes to distribution. So if let's say the father of Mrs. Song, when they distribute, right, she distribute it by using cash or she just do it in strata title and then to distribute, everyone has owned the ownership, then things will become easier. Or maybe liquidate it, right? In this case, we can see that sister of Mrs. Song, right, they are quite capable. So that's why all the nephews, they studied abroad. And the husband of Mrs. Song, which is Mr. Song, Mr. Song is just a teacher. So if let's say we don't, we distribute it according to evenly, not according to their capability, it will become all these consequences happen next. So as a recommendation, I would say, if let's say you may distribute according to your kid's ability. All right. If really can't do it, you know, most of us, we are struggling when come to this distribution, right? Then I would say, write in a will, liquidate your asset and distribute evenly. If let's say fairness is, if let's say evenly distribution is very important to you. Otherwise, it won't be the elder son take the compound, then the younger son take the toilet, right? You can't sell your property by pieces, isn't it? So that's where, when it comes to recommendation, I would say distribute according to your children's ability. But before this, you need to talk to your children. You need to let them know why mama, papa has this kind of decision. All right, try to make them understand. Then later on, only if let's say cannot, or maybe you want to make it confidential, so you can always write in a will saying that you want to liquidate your asset and distribute evenly. Otherwise, I would advise use insurance as a tool to distribute as a cash. The reason, because most of us, we have this perception to insurance is because, you know, we are being pushed to buy, see? But when it comes to will and trust, right, insurance is very complementary tool to will and trust, just to get more cash. All right. Some investors, they basically use this insurance, right, wonderfully to just claim for the estate tax, because in overseas they will have this estate tax compared to in Malaysia, right? So on top of this, this is what we didn't really talk about it last week. So I noticed that there are some Muslim friends in this chat room. So for Muslim, even if let's say you have clients are Muslim, please let them know the distribution, right? is totally different from non-Muslim distribution because we are minded with Distribution Act. But for Muslim, if let's say some particular beneficiary, right, they don't agree with the distribution, they will always go for Hukum Faraid. So Hukum Faraid is basically the Islamic law. If let's say you can tell from this Hukum Faraid, right, wife normally have 1/8 of the portion and children has the most portion of total estate distribution. Even they are young, right? So that's where, if let's say when we have a property or we have a business to share with non-Muslim, right? You can imagine basically they are not in Distribution Act, right? They are all binded with Islamic law already. So if you have Muslim friends share title with non-Muslim, then something that you need to be aware. So you can snapshot this slide or you can Google Hukum Faraid, then you'll find more information about this already. Right? So of course, for right now, right, we will have a lot of questions. This is what we do because if let's say for will and trust, right, normally they will have many questions about this will and trust. So why not we open this session and then we try to get more questions and to understand a little bit what basically can do for this will and trust. And then if let's say you would like to follow my page, then the page will be Uncle Ben Wealth Advisory, right? So pass back to Natalie. Let's have a Q&A session.
Yes, so Ben, we have a questions. So if we, wait, I saw questions from MJ.
Some foundation, some family foundation, including, all this, maybe YTR foundation. Okay, so we will have a selection of management team. So the MD must be, qualified this, and then they cannot have second wife, all these things, right? So only fulfill this criteria, then only they can sit under the board. So all this management, this team, right, they will manage the business and all the revenue will go back to the trust. So this to ensure all these wealthy people, especially ultra high net worth people, right, every beneficiary still benefit from the empire their grandparents, their parents has built. So if business can put into living trust, I think more likely to be the management team is under the trust management. Yeah, it's not like literally like put into living trust.
Okay, so we have questions from Shankar, Kailai, Nathan. Okay, what happens in the case of MH37D when there's nobody to prove that the person is indeed dead? So how to prove death and how does the property transfer to take place?
If let's say MH370, right? If let's say we remember clearly, right? That time, basically the government has declared, if let's say the body was not found after a few months, then it was declared as death already. So pass away, meaning. So they will still issue the death certificate for all these testator for their families to claim all this process. So for this one, right, as long as there's an official time frame that given by government, and then we just do according to the government wishes, right? If let's say they declare as death, that yeah, we will still process as the same thing. So how does property transfer take place? It depends on whether they have will or they don't have will. Like for example, this COVID-19 during this time, right? Most of people they start to think about whether they want to write a will. This is some of happened to my clients because why they need to write a will. The reason why is because they want to ensure that when they do will, right, they write the will, right, is in sound mind. So everything is not sound mind, right? It will be challenged. Every will be challenged, for your information. Every will be challenged. So it's just a matter of whether when judge interpret it is genuine or not. All right. So when this will being challenged, right? Whether they the whole decision making is in sound mind or is in aware about this will process or not. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we will call upon, witness, all these things. So if let's say during this COVID-19, if someone is in hospital already and then try to write a will, right, then they might have this concern whether it's in sound mind or not. So witness is play a very important role during this time. So if let's say they think that some of the beneficiary think that, hey, this is not genuine, or this is not true, this is not real, so they can challenge through the court. And if let's say the witness, can be simply anyone, not doctor, not lawyer, then everything will challenge, and then the will is just invalidated. So when it's not valid, then everything will go to the administration process, which is without a will process.
Okay, Ben. So it actually is saying that better for us to write a will when we are healthy and nothing's happened. Don't
Mm.
wait until you are in the hospital, then only you call for a
In
will.
our business is quite interesting one, because it's only when things trigger, right, then only we start thinking, oh, whether we really do this thing or not. Otherwise, right, people will still slumber,
Yeah.
people will not think about this until there are some events trigger.
All right. So we have questions from Laura, and I think it's the same questions with Jen. Any inheritance tax in Malaysia?
Okay, for now, because we had before 1990, before I was born. So when after 1990, right, it was abolished, and then if let's say you remember 3 years back, right, when there was the announcement of budget, I think 2018 or 2017, and then there was headline saying that the inheritance tax will come back again. So I think why is that so is because right now we are trying to balance up uh, the wealthy people and the poor people, try to get more tax, gain more tax from the wealthy people. But we won't be sure whether the inheritance tax will come back or not. But what I would advise is, if let's say right now I'm 30 this year, there are 30 years or maybe 40 years to go. If let's say I don't plan it now, right, after 40 years the policy might change. If let's say
Mhm.
the policy change, then maybe I can't do anything to avoid all these taxes already. So we just keep in our mind. So normally in my part, I will see if let's say some of my clients, they are quite young, then I will try to let them know and let them aware about this the existence of inheritance tax, because we won't know 30 years, 40 years later, they will have this happen. Because in overseas, right, why estate planner is quite professional, sorry, is quite good career, because all these taxes, they plan ahead, right? When having this inheritance tax. So what they do is they normally will use insurance as a tool to just pay off all the taxes. If they say 30 years, 40 years later, if I want to buy insurance, maybe I can't buy anymore. Or maybe the price is too high to afford it. So there's a reason why some concerns that we really want to think about. Mm-mm.
Okay, we have questions from Ida. Are there many Muslim families who put their property in a will to avoid FARAID?
Okay, from Ida, right? Muslim families normally will have wasiat. So wasiat is only one third of the whole property value. Will according to the wishes, meaning wasiat lah. So the rest, like 2/3 of it, right? They will try to get into faraid. So if let's say all the beneficiary basically agrees with the wasiat, right, then that should be no issue. But if let's say there's any dispute, which normally yes, so they will go to this hukum faraid. So we won't say is avoiding the hukum faraid, because Islamic teaching, right? I think that's the reason why we will follow the words of Nabi. But at the same time, we can use hiba to basically give to treat the property, the asset, as a value, as a gift to the beneficiary. So what we do is we will say you can use for this, right? You can use hiba, okay, which is trust in English. So hiba just as defined as the gift to the beneficiary. So you can park either a sum of money or some people, they use takafu as one of the hibah thing to just pass the money to the next of kin.
All right. So also a question from Jennifer, under the Islamic law, who is baki for the beneficiary?
Market is, if let's say, according to the proportionate, right, after uh, distribute out, and there will be some residuary, then the residuary will give to the anak lor. Normally, anak lelaki, either anak tunggal perempuan will get the most or anak lelaki.
Okay. So the next question is if the grandparents pass away in 1945, what is the inheritance tax now?
Okay. To be frank to you, Tina, for this one, right, I really need to cross-check a little bit because when they pass away, right, have you gotten the property already, or have you done the transfer already? Because there are a few concerns that it's not about the pass away, but I think it's about the when the title being transferred. So it might be traced back a little bit on the taxes. So I would like to talk to you more on this case. Generally, I really can't think of any answer on this. Yeah, what is the inheritance tax? Supposing right now we don't have any inheritance tax lah. It, if let's say pass away in 1945, right? Then if let's say the property has not transferred yet, then it will fall under unclaimed asset already. Huh. So
Okay.
need to get a little bit more information to give this advice.
Okay. So a question from Jacqueline. May I ask if we can find our long lost parent and found out they got property, can we contest for a portion? Wow. I hope I can
Okay.
find my long
Okay.
lost
Yeah, maybe
parents.
before answering Jacqueline's question, right, I would strongly really like during this MCO, take the time to really list down all your property assets because uh, if to be honest, I don't know whether my dad has bought another 2 houses or 3 houses or not. You know, as a son, we won't know. Similarly, your son also wouldn't know like whether you have what kind of property asset or even bank account in your asset list, right? So I would strongly advise you, if let's say you have time, try to, because basically I give out this financial tool also lah. You just try to list down every single assets that you are having right now, all right, from property, okay, liquid asset, including your bank, your shares, your unit trust, your offshore investment, including all your policies, including all your and there's cars, vehicles, right, registered under your name. Try to list it down, because when you list down, right, then only the next of kin can know what exactly you have, right? If let's say you find a long lost parents, or maybe your parents leave some asset for you, then it will you can contest for your portion. It depends of the years of validity, how long ago lah. So this Jacqueline also for Jacqueline's question also, then it is about the time frame also. So we will look into the time frame. Because if let's say biological children, right, you have the right to contest. Like I said, every will can be contested. But if you are biological father and mother, it depends on the judge how do they see this case. It's basically based on the validity of the will and also the interpretation of the judge.
So how long the judge will take in consideration? Like let's say at least 10 years or within 5 years.
That one I need to check. I can't confirm, but yeah, for that question, I think whether can contest or not, yes, it's always contestable,
Okay.
right? Just that the
All right.
point of, you contest whether you have the point to tell them or not, then that's another issue.
Okay. So a question from Yvonne. If a husband pass away, normally wife and children will inherit the property. Can parents or siblings fight for the property if there's no will?
Meaning uncle and aunties lah, right? Yeah, normally if let's say this, like I say, everywhere can be contested, but looking at this question, right, siblings, if let's say they want to contest, right, what would be the point? Either they are paying the same installment, and then is there any proof they pay the same installment. Like I say, if let's say it's a shared title, then yes, maybe. But if let's say you don't have any valid point, then it's very tough. So under Distribution Act, immediate family and also the parents are normally the priority.
Okay.
Mm.
All right. So question from Sheikh Abu Tahir. How do you calculate hibah fees?
It depends on what kind of HIBA that you're setting on. Like if let's say for trust, right, HIBA or trust lah, we only start from 1,000. Maybe some of the concern will be the estate administration part. So when it comes to administration part, like I said, we normally will park under a very safe investment tool. So the interest or the return basically can cover up the administration. So when you do all this HIBA or trust, is very depending on why do you want to set up this. Is that to take care of minor? Like I can show you an example. I can always set up a trust, Benjamin Trust, and then to take care of my, if let's say I pass away lah, I will give my wife some allowances, living expenses allowance, right? Maybe 3,000, and then I give my daughter the tuition fees up to 1,000. So if let's say when my daughter reach 18 years old, she needs a fees for education, right, for tertiary, then I'll say, or maybe 50,000 to sponsor first thing. Then when 25 years old, then I will sponsor another 30,000 to get a MyV, which is impossible. 30,000 can't get a MyV, right? Then if let's say my wife remarried, then I will say I will stop the living expenses and then everything will pass to my daughter. Because my wife remarried, meaning she has someone to take care of her already, right? So all this control you can do in trust. This funny example basically just to let you know you can control everything is by your word. Trust setting up, the toughest part is you need to really think of what you want to do if let's say the trust kicks in.
Mm-hmm. So Ivy asking, I am a Malaysian. Will there be any difficulties for my kids who are not Malaysian to inherit the properties?
Come again?
If let's say she's Malaysian, but the kids are not Malaysian, but then she have property in Malaysia, can it be inherited to the kids?
Yes. As long as there's an identification number or passport number, then when someone pass away, right, then they know that you have written a will in Malaysia, and then they can always come to claim the thing lah, the estate. So as long as there are certain people, they are aware that you have done your trust in Malaysia. So like most of the time we will advise for estate in Malaysia, we will do a will in Malaysia too.
Okay.
Well, there are a lot of questions. Wow.
Yeah, I think, can you cover all?
Yeah, we try because there are a lot of questions, right? I think it's quite about either it's relate to them. If let's say really relate to them, I would advise maybe just try to talk to me, and then because there are some other information I can't answer you generally, right? If let's say I answer generally, maybe there will be a wrong advice. But I saw someone, Jennifer, I think it's Jennifer's question. The trust created in the will or trust created in the divorce. Okay, there are two types of trust. One is living trust, one is testamentary trust. So either you want to put your trust inside the will or you want to make it living trust, right? It can be done. So meaning to say, if let's say will only happen when will only announce when only death happens, right? So everything will according after death. But if let's say I'm incapacity, I have mental disability, I have I can't do any legal kind of document really, then living trust kicks in place. So meaning if let's say I have certain money I can park in under living trust, right? So the estate administration will start kicking in when the event happened. Okay, so this will be to answer your question, Jennifer.
Okay. What if husband bought a house for his mother and put half his name and half her name? Now he married, got 2 kids, and husband dies. Who can claim the property if he also has siblings already married? Wow.
Okay, generally, if let's say remarried, right, then remarried, then they will revoke all the will that has previously done.
But this is not remarried. This is like he bought a house for the mother, but
Uh,
he passed away. Then
oh, okay, okay.
yeah,
And then right now he marries with two kids and husband dies.
yeah.
Okay,
What
who
she
can
mean
claim
was
for how?
like the husband died, and then the husband got two kids and a wife. Then who can claim the
A
property?
bit.
Who can inherit it?
Okay, so if you need to look at whether the mother has also has written a will. If let's say mother has written a will, right, then the half of the share is basically according to the mother's will, right? Then the other half is husband, so the portion will be the other half on the husband's side, lor. Okay, so right now he marries with two kids. So what this husband entitled, right, is only the 50% of the property shares for the two kids. So siblings basically can have the entitled the shares from the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So if let's say really want to contest in that way lah, mm-mm.
So basically, the mom's portion is for the kids lah, for all the kids, the siblings
For
and
the
stuff,
kids, which is siblings of the husband, no?
siblings of the husband, and then the husband portion is for the husband's children and the wife, the immediate
Mm.
family.
Mm.
Okay. So from Jimmy, if I have a will, what's happened to the will which legally given to the children? What kind of procedure and how long will it take to distribute? Do they still need the letter of administration or consent from our government authority? Anthony
Oh, okay.
authority.
Okay, so
Authority.
if let's say you have a will, right, we call it grant of probate instead of letter of administration. So letter of administration is for those without will, right? So if let's say you have a will and then you all pass to your children, okay. So basically the time frame, right, is generally we will say is 3 months to 6 months. But if there's a complicated case, maybe you have a lot of properties or maybe you have business and it will drag longer. Okay, so if let's say with will drag longer, then you will expect without will, then it will drag even longer. So if let's say generally the time frame will be 3 to 6 months with a will, if let's say without will will be 1 year to 3 years. So you just try to do some mathematical calculation, then you will know that without a will, then it will drag longer time, right? So especially those who have business, so 3 months to 6 months is basically based on the processes from the land office, from the grant of probate. Because to apply grant of probate is very fast. When it comes to public transfer, then they will be very difficult. Okay, so any other question?
Ben, I saw a very good question. What's the arrangement if the children is below 18 years old when parent
Okay,
pass away?
if let's say below 18 years old, right, is considered minor. So normally we will assign one trustee. Trustee, it can be your spouse, right, or the guardian to take care of the wealth, to take care of the money. So what happened is, if let's say the trustee will be the spouse, right, then we will say, okay, then spouse has the total control, especially in liquid asset. Because for property asset, right, when you see the title will be someone hold under trust. Okay, the property title won't be the name exactly for the beneficiary, for the minor. So normally it's someone hold under trust. The title is that. So the trustee cannot sell off the whole property. So they are just only uh, take care for a certain time of period. But if let's say cash, okay, if I pass to a trustee to take care of cash, right, cash is not traceable. So you can say I use up all the cash because I need to take care of all these kids, so that's why I use up all the cash already. It's not traceable. So if let's say for cash, right, it will be very good if you pass to trustee. Otherwise, to avoid all these hanky panky things. Okay, so I think we got to take a very last few questions ready. Natalie, you mute yourself.
Hey, okay, so I also saw questions from Laura. If will is done long ago by will writers and keep in custody by them, if a new will is drawn up and by another legal firm, will this new will automatically supersede the previous one?
Okay, hold on. Laura, I can't see the question.
Previous comment, you have to scroll
Okay.
up.
Laura, okay, if let's say, just correct me if I'm wrong because I wasn't really get the question. So if let's say there's any will, right? If let's say we only have one will to the latest date, so meaning to say only one will that according in the whole world there is only, if let's say your will is only protect in Malaysia, protect asset in Malaysia, then there should be only one will and then with one date. So if let's say you have another will in foreign country, right, you can, if let's say you don't include the asset in Malaysia, then that will be fine. Okay, so meaning to say, I have one will, only one latest date. Okay, there will, any latest will supersede or will revoke the previous will already. Mm. Just now I heard about foreign, right? If let's say she make another will in foreign country, isn't it, Natalie?
No, she never mentioned. She just asked, will the new will supersede the previous one?
If let's say foreign, when the testator do a will outside the country and then just particularly for the country asset, then that's fine. It won't revoke any will that do in this country, especially those who have, China came over and then to buy properties here, right? So you just let the Chinese know it's good to have one will in Malaysia, specifically for Malaysia asset. Mm.
Okay.
So to protect all this, then otherwise, right, what they need to do is they will get the bill from China and then translate in embassy and then come back to Malaysia and then claim the will. And then, the whole process will take very long. And then they need to appoint someone to run the process.
Okay,
Mm.
so if let's say we have any foreigners buyer, they have assets
Mm.
in Malaysia, best is to advise them to write a will in Malaysia, back in Malaysia.
And
Okay,
to just protect all the assets in Malaysia.
all right. So I think okay, also from Tricia, can the property being sold under the trustee acting on behalf of children under 18 years old?
If your wish or your will, right, you have written there saying that you want to sell, then yes, trustee can help to sell. Mm.
If no,
Uh, if let's say won't, then property will hold under trust, or just like I said just now, the title, right, is hold under trust on behalf of the minor.
so Lillian asked how to sell
How to sell?
regarding the previous questions.
How to sell, or you mean the property?
Yeah. Oh, I
Okay.
think it's in regards of her questions earlier that
Uh-huh.
the husband and the moms bought property together, and then
Okay.
now both of them already passed away. Then how
Okay.
to sell this property?
Okay. So either you instruct it very clearly in your will, like how much that you tend to sell or the property value that you're expecting. All right. Otherwise, it is likely to based on the trustee to have all the discretionary decision to sell.
If there's no will, if there's
If
no
there's
will,
no will, then
yeah.
it's wait for that long only. They won't be selling it. If let's say the loan has settled, then it's okay lah. Like everything will pass to the beneficiary law according to the Distribution Act. Otherwise, the loan is not settled, and then it will based on long price already. House loan settle. If house loan settle, then it will based on the Distribution Act to pass to all their children, and then trustee normally will be the guardian, as judge will determine that, right? So just when come to execution, right, without will, it's very hard to find executor because they need a sureties, two sureties, meaning to say they have similar asset value to handle their asset. Otherwise, right, they're afraid that they will take away all the asset. That's basically the logic behind. So the why the process is longer is because it's very hard to find the same network of sureties, and the executor, the sureties, right, they need to run the whole process.
Okay. So so this I saw this question from Lee Si Ho. Mr. Tan and Mrs. Tan joint name own 4 houses. Mr. Tan is bankruptcy now. How to transfer to wife?
Okay, if let's say join in, right, all these assets are supposed to be solvency department already. They need to declare. So whether or not they can transfer, I think it's quite hard. And then because it's all under solvency, if let's say before bankruptcy, right, they assign all this under trust, then the solvency department, they won't go after this. Of course, there are some criteria, but it can be avoided only by using trust. But right now, how to transfer to wife, not able to, because he must declare all this asset to the insolvency department.
Okay.
Husband must leave will, so siblings don't need to get property. Lilian, I would prefer if let's say you text me, because there are I think there are some condition that you need to take care of. So that's why I would advise you to talk to me, or to just ping me, whether by WhatsApp or what, right?
Yes. Okay. So Lilian
All
cannot
right.
use WhatsApp ban. Yeah. I think it's about
Okay.
time.
Yeah. And then maybe some of you, normally this question will be raised up when come to some talks. What's the difference between, when you do a will with a lawyer or with estate planner? I think the major difference is when it come to estate planner, right? We really think about in terms of financial, how would you want to distribute, right? So we will really calculate the whole asset value, and then try to understand how would you want to arrange, right? So this is something that we do extra. Okay, so when it comes to planning, then only we write a will. So basically, even us, we when writing a will, we also pass to lawyer to write. But beforehand, we will plan first. We charge almost similar fees.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Yeah, if you have any more question, you can always ping Benjamin. You can save his number and then WhatsApp to him. Do
For
you want to answer
Victor,
the last question?
okay, Victor, can the wife can become trustee? Yeah, anyone can always become trustee, but when become trustee, right, there will be an issue of immortality, the mortality issue. So if someone is assigned to be a trustee, and then meaning to say he or she will hold the whole asset. So if let's say you pass to someone that maybe pass away 2 years later than you, so that trustee, right? I think it defeats the purpose of why you want to set up the trust, right? So in the will, wife can become trustee. Children, as long as it's not minor, can always become trustee too. Okay, I think that's all. Very
Hey,
good,
thanks,
very good.
man. Thanks, man. So if you have any more question, please look for Benjamin.
Yeah, and also if let's say, because I think that Redfield has also similar kind of culture, because if let's say for you want to sell, or you want to liquidate your property, right, can always look for Redfield agent, because what I understand from the culture of Redfield, right, they have done a very amazing work, try to get a right home for their clients, as like Natalie shared just now. So I think their belief is almost quite similar with Anja. If you have watched Anja before, right, then yeah, they are someone that you can really look for, right, to basically sell, or get a right home for you guys.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Benjamin. All right. Our facilitator, can you change the screen to
Hold
our
on, let me
announcement?
stop sharing first.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Wonderful sharing. All right. So we have announcement here. So any of you haven't get these three books as is our business models Bible. So you can always email to hello@redfield.com or your MCA to purchase all these books. Okay, the 1 Millionaire Real Estate Agent and the Chief. Okay, next screen. Next slide, please. Okay, tomorrow 10 to 12, we have a six personal perspective. It's part 3. So please attend and remark in your calendar. Next. And also, whoever is interested to know more about Matterport virtual tours, please register for this session. It's tomorrow, 6th of May, Wednesday, 2 to 4 p.m. So if any one of you are interested in all these virtual 3D solution, you are thinking how to do like virtual viewings, you need to attend this. It's by Bruce Well. Okay, sign up. Our facilitators already posted all the registration link. So you just click in and then sign up there. Okay, next. Okay, so on Thursday, we have a night session with David Voorhees. So it's about utilizing technology for database management. So if you want to learn how to manage your database internationally from our international speaker, so please sign this up. Okay, that's all. Okay, so that's all for today. Thanks for coming. And also thank you, Benjamin, for your sharing.
Yeah, I saw a few questions actually posted. So if let's say I couldn't really answer your question, right? I would appreciate if let's say you text me, we can discuss it further because otherwise it's very tough for me to, to catch up all these questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nat. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.